of that game. I really thought our kids played with a lot of energy, emotion, passion, really good effort for the most part across the board. Made some big plays in all phases of the game. I mean, you look at just special teams, which you don't usually see big time plays in special teams. You see it on offense and defense, interceptions, but to have a block punt and not be able to scoop and score right there and get 0 points from it. And then we got a muffed punt return, which the guy dropped it. We're supposed to stay in front of him, and Byron did a great job getting down there, getting on that ball. And PG, I think whoever the gunner was, tackled the return so he couldn't get back on it. But those are some big plays in just the special teams, let alone what we did on offense with some of the explosives. Izzy was good, obviously. The hurdle touchdown. Defensively played hard all day, and I think held an explosive team to 3 explosives the entire day. Our goal was to hold them under 4. We had 3, but 3 turned out to be too many, and we didn't score enough points to win the football game. So it's disappointing, but like I said, we put that thing to rest last night in here, and I hate even talking about it the next day. But we're moving on. We got a great Western Michigan team coming in, or going up there, I guess, into Kalamazoo. We got a challenge on our hands. They're well coached. Tim Lester does a great job. Jeff Thorne, new OC, came from over in Illinois from Division III school over there. And Lou Esposito, their defense coordinator, has been there for a while and does a really good job. And they do a lot of similar things to us, so it'll be some carryover from what our offense sees every day in practice with what they do, coverage-wise and front-wise. So there's some good things as far as that goes. So I'll open it up for questions.
What issues do you see with the offensive line after 2 games?
Again, good question, Chris. I mean, when you look at it, like, we got better, okay? Sometimes, again, like, let's just go to the play before the half, and I know where you're going with it, like, because I think maybe you guys asked this question just about, the O-line and protection, and sometimes our O-line's got to get us out of it. Sometimes our, quarterback's got to get us out of a bad play or redirect protections or whatever it may be. On the play before the half, we should have the tailback staying in and protected. We didn't do that. But O-line overall, I mean, you go back and look at the tape and you watch from the end zone, like, we're creating some holes for the offensive line or for the running backs. Not just on Izzy's big runs, on ones that we throw RPOs, like if we let it go and let it ride and hit it off the tailback, go look at overtime and see what it looks like. It's like, hand the ball off and let's go. But we didn't hand the ball off. We tried to throw it and didn't throw it very well when we tried to. So there's some things like that you don't really see, that we see in a coaches meeting. But I think our O-line's done a solid job. It's a protection. Should it be better? Yes. There's sometimes you're hot off a guy and you got to throw it. You're going to take a hit. That's what quarterbacks do. But it's part of the game. You see it everywhere. You see it in the NFL. You see it in other games.
I'm sorry. How do you assess your wide receiver group? Jared Williams played very well, but what are the rest of the guys?
Jared Williams played outstanding. He really has. He's the guy. We kind of knew that back in the summer. He's the leader of that group. The other guys have had opportunities, and we obviously played a lot more 3 wideouts in the game Saturday afternoon, and we got to step up. We got to make more plays. We got opportunities to catch the ball, and we got to make it. I mean, you look at the game in a nutshell. We missed 2 field goals. Okay, we give them a freebie at the end of the half. I mean, there's 9-point difference right there. Take into account that we think there's a flag because someone gets wrapped around the waist across the middle. They throw the flag, they pick it up. We think there's a flag, so we got a free play. We throw it down the field, hits the receiver in the hands, and it gets dropped, and someone from over there, EJ comes and scoops it up. We had the same thing happen again, game of inches, and MJ gets an interception and his heel's out by an inch. So just some of those things are just like, it's one of those games that, for whatever reason. I mean, you look at Nick Patty has a great touchdown run. You guys watch the tape. I thought Jared Wayne not only caught the ball well, ran well with it after catches, I thought he blocked really well too, put it that way.
Pat, I'll take this so that Jerry doesn't have to. What's the status of your quarterback room at the moment?
Like I always say, guys, I'm not talking, personnel, and on Monday, we all know what we know. I know nothing. How about that?
You know nothing, really.
Yeah.
What about the number 3 quarterback competition? You said in camp that it was unsettled. Who was your number 3 quarterback on Saturday?
I would say it's still unsettled. I would say it's unsettled. So I mean, you know, Kyler's been good, Nate Yarnell's been good. I mean, Nate Yarnell gives us most of the, he probably 2 out of 3 team periods, Nate's given us a look, because he's done it before. That's the guy we pick defensively, like we want that guy. So he's played more ball than Kyler has as far as just playing ball. Derek's paying attention and locked into the offense because, you know, he's on that end. So I would say, you know, it's a toss-up who the third guy would be.
Pat, speaking of quarterbacks, you're going up against a guy you guys recruited when he was in high school here in this area. What have you seen from him on film in his first 2 games for Western Michigan as a starter?
Yeah, Salopek is a good football player. Played 6 snaps against us a year ago. Was accurate with all his short passes that he did throw in the game. He moves well. He's tough. I think he's a tough guy. And he operates the offense. I think he's real coachable. I mean, you watch him, from everything we got, just very coachable guy that's going to do exactly the way they're supposed to do it. And I think that's what anybody could ask for out of a quarterback to operate the offense. And he does a nice job. They're very similar to what they were a year ago offensively, and you know he's done a nice job so far in 2 games.
You mentioned a while ago taking the freebie at the end of the first half. Do you think about taking a knee with 21 seconds left?
I'm a dumbass, Jerry. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we didn't put a returner back, so we were concerned about. You know, we're really worried about it. And yeah, you know, you go back and look. That's the one. You know, you guys talk timeouts. I think Saturday after the game. You know, I certainly wasn't going to call a timeout at the end of the game. That's why we kneeled down in the 4th quarter and take it to overtime. We're going to take a chance and make something crazy happen like that. That happened there. And again, even on that play, if we just throw it to Bubs in the flat wide open, if we just throw it there and take that, you know, we'll probably feel pretty good right now. But it's not what happened.
Pat, that unsettledness at the number 3 quarterback spot, did that factor in any decision to keep Nick in the game? Because just from where I was sitting, it looked like he was pretty, I mean, he was playing on one leg the last 15 plus minutes.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad from the videotape I saw. I mean, you guys maybe, you know, make it look worse than it was, but, you know, Nick's a tough kid. I mean, first of all, Nick's tough. And, you know, Nick doesn't like to get hurt. Nick's going to say, I'm good. And we're going to believe what Nick, if Nick says he's not good, we're going to, you know, pull him out of there for health and safety reasons. But, you know, I don't see what you guys see just from watching the game tape on tape that, you know, maybe in between snaps. You know, we don't watch that. I don't watch the in-between. You guys are watching the in-between. We're worried about getting the next call and personnel to rest. But when he was out there, you know, he moved around well. Now, we weren't moving the pocket or running nakeds or anything like that with him. So we didn't feel that good. But, you know, but that had nothing to do with it. I mean, we had a 3rd ready to go. But, you know, 13 guys aren't getting many reps during the week. Okay, 2nd team guys aren't getting many reps to Nick Patty's defense as well. So it's tough to get everybody reps. Just like in the bowl game, it's tough to get everybody reps.
I'm not sure if this question violates your injury policy, but
Yes, next question.
Oh,
If you don't think it does,
I was just gonna ask, was Rodney at the game?
yes.
Okay.
Coach, you've obviously spent a number of years in the MAC. How has that level of football changed from then up until now?
Yeah, well, good question. I think it's changed a lot when you look at their depth charts. You know, look at the depth chart here. We got, you know, transfer from Sam Houston, transfer from Western Illinois, Youngstown State transfer, Wisconsin transfer, Pitt transfer, BC transfer. That's just on the offensive roster. On the defensive roster, you know, BMI transfer, East Carolina transfer. Let's see here. Purdue transfer, Pitt transfer, Illinois transfer, St. Francis transfer. So it's changed a lot. I mean, with opening transfer, you know, I think, you know, I was telling a recruit the other day, like the portal has opened up. I think everybody's getting stronger. I think you're seeing some of these Group of 5 teams, you know, beat people because they got a stronger roster than they had in the past. Everybody's weeding out their roster, getting rid of the weak, and they're finding guys that are better than what they lost. In the end, there's a lot of people not graduating, which is a bad thing. Everybody jumps in thinking that the grass is greener, I'm going to get something else. I think college football is getting stronger as a whole, but I think there's a lot of kids losing out on scholarships and an education that they had. They thought they were going to still have it and didn't have it. So the weak are still in the portal, I think, if you do a good job evaluating. So it makes everybody stronger, I think.
When you brought in Kyler, what did you like about his game, and what could he give? What can he give you?
Yeah, you know, he's smart, number one. He can operate the offense, and we got trust that he can operate the offense. You know, like Yarnell, I mean, we know that he's had experience in games. As you know, we lost, you know, two guys that had played games before, so that's what we needed to get somebody just that had been in there, which it was needed. He's obviously got 1 year of eligibility, and he can operate. So his touchdowns to interceptions, like 42 TDs. I mean, 3 interceptions, something like that. I mean, just crazy. Threw for a lot. He's a leader. He's a great kid.
Did the run defense make the kind of improvements that you were hoping they would?
Yeah, they really did. They make it a little hard. I mean, obviously less than 100 yards and less than 3 yards per carry, which is what you want. But some of the harder runs are some of the quarterback draws. And again, if you had to look at the weakest part of the whole show, and I talked about field goals and 9 points and interceptions and not interceptions and feet out of bounds. One of probably the only thing we didn't do a great job of was tackling. And Henry Hooker, I think he put on 15 pounds since last year. I think he was he looked big out there, and he didn't go down easy. So we did not tackle the quarterback well. I think we had 3 sacks. Some days should have had 6, 7. I mean, you have, if we only had 3, if we had 4, I think the outcome's a little bit different. But you only got 3, and I think those are critical. We didn't tackle well. There's times they threw some nows out there that we got to go take shots and go make plays and play a little just wanted to make the play instead of make a big play and go make it for less yards. So there were some of those that I didn't like. So we got to get that cleaned up this week. But run game, shoot, and that's a team that can run the football. But no, we played it a lot better. It was what it's supposed to look like. You need to have that kind of effort and attention to detail in the run game all the time.
When you and your ACC coaches get together to talk about things, do you ever wonder why ACC plays so many road games against non-Power 5 schools?
I don't know who it is, road games, I don't count those up. I just know, what I've been told, and I try to stay out of it. They say, hey, it's either this or this, and then I'll give my opinion. But I think back when this game was scheduled, and nobody wants to go, on the road, period. We'd like to have all of our home games at home, or every game at home. But I think when it was scheduled, from my knowledge, that was kind of the landscape of college football. Is people weren't taking, it had to be you weren't getting them. It's like you want to go play, let's just say Wisconsin on a home and home, or do you want to go play a Mid-American or Group of 5 school? Even with Marshall, we were supposed to go to Marshall in the COVID year. We didn't go, obviously, because of COVID. We played a conference schedule, but some of those things were happening at that time in scheduling that you really was no options. I mean, you look at it. I mean, you better schedule out 15 years, and maybe we don't schedule out far enough to get it where there's options. But nobody's at that point when we're trying to get games and you're trying to get your schedule filled out, sometimes you're stuck with what you have. But
They wouldn't come here unless you went there.
oh yeah, that's part of it. It's in the kind of, they're like it's either that or you want to go out and play UNLV at UNLV, or it's like, so there's options are limited at times. But it seems to be coming back the other way now. So we hope to not have that anymore.
What is it about Western Michigan's defense that could potentially give you guys issues?
They got guys on scholarship. They're playmakers. They're about 40% pressure. They like to bring pressure. So we got to block them up front. And they come down to protection. They see a lot of pressure. Our offense sees a lot of pressure against us. So like I said, they're very similar to what we do. They're gonna play. They're gonna bring 5. They're gonna bring 6. They're gonna play short coverage. We know how to defend that kind of stuff, so it's good. And it'll be a good football game. They're well coached. Coach Esposito does a great job, and they play hard. They play tough, and they'll be excited to be home.
You mentioned the new OC there. Are they doing the same stuff they were doing last year offensively?
Yeah,
All the RPO stuff.
There's a lot of similarities. There's just some more stuff. Again, they ran more RPOs against us last year. They ran a lot out of the pistol against us and not anybody else. So we'll obviously get prepared for that. But a lot of similarities. And Coach Lester, the head coach, is an offensive guy, and I know he'll have his hands in the game plan this week. I'm sure he had it in last week and the week before as well. So he's gonna have his opinions and thoughts, and hey, we need to do this or try this. So there's a lot of similarities offensively. That's why I hired him. The guy's very like-minded, like he is.
A tough watch reviewing the game film from last year for you guys.
Not really. I mean, I shouldn't say not really. Every game is tough. If you don't make a play, I have watched the offense side of the ball, but I think everybody forgets that we had 3 turnovers in that game. You didn't win the game with 3 turnovers. And, we got kind of torn apart a little bit, and we got to stop the run again. And everybody will get upset if they throw a slant route or a skitty post or glance route, whatever it may be, or a 5-yard out or 10-yard out route to the field, which we're prepared for all of them. People, I mean, I thought Harry Cal played a heck of a game, but we didn't stop the run well enough to go with that, and that was the problem back then. But I think our kids were like, I'm running in there and then they're throwing it over my head, so they start to get. But we'll make sure that doesn't happen this year.
Pat, you guys only had 1 touchdown on 5 yards on the trips, whereas you had 3 for 3 the week before. Looking back, what you guys have to clean up to capitalize on more of those opportunities?
We got to make more plays and got to be crisp route runners and make better decisions down there. I mean, really, it comes down to that. We had some plays, we had some plays, and and I know you guys don't get the end zone copy, but we had some plays that are there. We got to finish the play. We got to make the plays, and we didn't do that.
You talked about last week how a lot of the receivers were breaking off, like the Bubby broke out his route too early. There's still some issues there. Just with
No, we were better with our our revolutions or route running. We were better with our depth of our routes. Now, I shouldn't say all of them. And then all of a sudden we got a tailback, maybe one that's in the skinny stuff or the hard post or skinny post. Some of those still. But again, I think that's part of new offense, second game, and and again, it's learning learning situations for our kids. I mean, they're going to continue to learn how we want to do it and how it has to be done. And there's no wiggle room for it to be done any other way.
You have a number of players back from last year. You were good last year, bouncing back after losses. Do you see this same type of qualities with this group?
Yeah, sure hope so. That's the plan. This is a total reverse from last year. Last year we're coming off an emotional win. I think our kids were feeling themselves. Whereas, now this year it's Tennessee then Western Michigan. It's Tennessee then Western Michigan. So it's a total different deal. So we're gonna see how our kids respond. They went through adversity on Saturday. Thought they handled it well, and now they're gonna go through a week of adversity and find out what happens Saturday night.
Final question, Jerry?
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask about
Because we're not gonna let you came in late.
But I was gonna ask, Joe Wayne continues to look like he's polished his game a lot more from last year. What have you seen from him also as a leader off the field that's kind of stepped up with his play?
Yeah, we talked about that all August. I mean, he's just he's such an unbelievable young man. I tell you, he's a man. He's not even probably young anymore. He's an old man. But he is a leader. He's the leader of that room, and we need him to even lead more. We got to get those other young guys, those new guys, to come. They got to mature a little bit faster than they are right now, and we need those other guys to make plays if we're going to put them on the field.
Jerry, go ahead, you get the last one.
You played 2 4-hour games in a row. On Sundays, do you see any effects of that when these guys came in here yesterday?
Not really. I mean, they're noisy as could be, so not really. I don't see any. They're noisy. I'll tell you that. There's no, they weren't just sitting here like exhausted or tired. They're energetic still. They're kids. We would feel 4 hours, but I don't think they feel 4 hours.
You bring them in the afternoon, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just a follow-up, because I saw the expression you made when Jerry asked you that question. Are these games too long?
There's a lot of reviews, a lot of officials hanging out together going, yeah, that was holding, but let's wipe it off. There's a lot of crazy. I mean, I've never seen somebody in 2 games, flags picked up off the ground. But I think they're getting long, yeah. A lot of plays. Forget the length. And again, our offense won the time possession by 10 minutes, I think. And again, I guess the team won it because when you go 3 and out and have a 54-second drive, that helps the situation. We're running the ball and having long drives, but the games aren't getting longer. I think. I mean, you'd like it to be somewhere in the 3.5, but a lot of indecision on the field.
Okay, folks, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.